We all get taught that there's basically three main feelings. There's more, but whatever. When you see a kid in the candy aisle of the grocery store screaming about, not being able to get that piece of candy, they're not throwing a hissy fit because they're angry. They're afraid they're not going to get their candy. And they don't know how to control that fear. And then what if somebody comes up and threatens your dad or one of your kids or you? If you've ever been attacked, you might know what uncontrollable fear can be like. And then it can change from fear to rage, just like. So that's a pretty straightforward example of how anger and fear are closely related. Tantruming is just a way to threaten the people around you enough to get what you want. But more complicated than that might be an abusive relationship. I'm not going to go into all the dynamics of what an abusive relationship can work on and what can bring it together and keep it running. But at its core, it is driven by fear. For the abuser, it's a fear of not being good enough or not having the control they thought they had or losing control they thought they had. And for the victim, it's a complicated sort of setup where they may be afraid of not being good enough for anybody else, or that they believe that they can't live being alone. But hey, the abuser doesn't get up in the morning and stretch out happily thinking about the events that they are going to commit at somebody else that day. They get up in the morning and they start by thinking about how to get to work, if they're going to get there on time, and if the kids did their homework, and try to make sure they get the work on time. Then after that, and dealing with the traffic rush, the issues that were kind of coming in there along the way, they're dealing with the fact that one of the kids got up late after all, instead of getting up and taking care of their homework like they said they would. And so they're going to make it to school on time. And then you discover that the angry boss is yelling at them because they're 5 minutes late, and then after that, their coworkers aren't really doing their job, so now all of a sudden they're taking care of 3 different jobs at the same different time, and then the boss yells at them for not being able to do their one simple job at that point, and then finally, after that long of a time, they manage to get home, and after going home, they burn the dinner because they're helping the kids get the homework done, so they couldn't pay attention to that, and then suddenly they snap because their spouse says, "Hey, why don't you just fucking calm?" They lose control. The actual control, the only control they have over themselves. Not because they hate anyone or because they're always angry, but because they are afraid of what it means when they don't have that illusion of control, that things seem to be going right. Everybody knows that the only thing you can really control is yourself, and yet we struggle for it all the time. So what's the point of even having anger? What's it supposed to do for us if all it is destructive? Glad you asked. It's a warning sign. It's telling you this road is going to get rough. It's telling you that a fight is coming. You're going to need some extra energy. The amazing thing is how fast that decision point comes up. A lot of people believe they just get angry like that, but the fact is, it's not quite that simple. Here are 3 things you can pay attention to ensure that you can manage your anger, not the other way around. 1, pay attention to your physiology. Your face getting flushed, your hands gripping, is your heart racing? Well, you're either having sex, in which case you really shouldn't be watching this video, or you're mad. Take note of those warning signs. They're there for a reason. Number 2, if you're already tired and stressed, you might be prone already to fuck it types of thinking. That type of thinking is that moment when you throw it away. It doesn't matter anymore. You're not thinking about consequences. You just want somebody else to suffer the way you are. And number 3, habits. If you get angry all the time, you are promoting this habit to yourself. You need to accept that this isn't what is going to help you unless you make a change. Now, thinking becomes difficult when we get angry, but there's a few things you can do. So a subsection to number 3, 1, have a sense of humor about it. Just play out the fact that this is ridiculous. Play it up a little bit. Number 2 on that is also look at where you want to be long term. Is this really going to make a huge difference tomorrow or even an hour from now? And number 3, ask for help. If you're really struggling with getting mad quickly about a lot, then talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to voices you trust, and find out what they think might be going on. Alternatively, they're not going to love you more if they rage at them. Nobody will respect you more if you rage at them. They will respect if you're trying to make a difference. And you can control this. When fear, when the candy oil of the grocery, and then it train who you think or think be more prone. Pause. Other forms. Fuck. Finally,